Hey, Good Friday morning, everyone. This is the last day of the work week. I hope you have great plans ahead in store for you. And today, I am so excited about today's content. We are in chapters 25, 26, and 27. We are in the last of the speeches in the debates between Job and his friends. Congratulations, you've made it. And I'm so excited about the text today because as we've seen in the last few days, we are seeing this turning point, this turning away from the arguments and the debates with his friends that Job was having that were going nowhere, to this change in perspective, to this change in his posture, to the change in the direction of what he was looking at, what he was asking, what he was seeing, where he was directing his hope and his help and his request from. He was changing from looking for healing from his friends, realizing that they could help him, but they couldn't heal him. So much good in the last few days. And in today's text, we see just an exciting part. At least I get excited, and I hope you do too. So we're in Bildad's final argument. Again, remember, we heard from all three of the friends. And then in this last round, we see that Zophar basically doesn't return in the discussion. And in chapter 25, verse 4, we see that Bildad asked this question, and it's kind of like when you're the kid in the class and you actually did your homework and you know the answer, but you know that in this context they didn't know the answer yet, but you're like, oh, I know that one. He asked this question in verse 4. How can a human be justified before God? And we know the answer to that. We know that Jesus is coming, and I think of Elf in the movie, right, where he's like, it's Santa, and I'm here going, it's Jesus. I know how we can be justified before God. It's Jesus. I know how that happens. So I get excited because I know here we go. Here we're starting to change our posture, our perspective, our view. We're going from the details and the mundane to the greater cosmic view of who God is and his play in the world and his power in the world, and then ours as well through his perspective. So here again, we see Jesus in Job's story again. We see this foreshadowing, and that's why this is just great literature in the Bible, in that a great writer will have like just this keen like foreshadowing in the text where you're like, ooh, I remember that point. I knew it was coming, right? It gives you that looking for, right? I'm looking for that now in the storyline. And that's what's happening here in chapters 25, 26, and 27. It goes on to say in verse 5 of chapter 26, I just want to read a couple of these. It says, the departed spirits tremble beneath the waters and all that inhabit them. The departed spirits tremble beneath the waters and all that inhabit them. And this, again, hints toward something's coming. My Redeemer, my advocate is on the way, because the departed spirits are trembling beneath the waters and all that inhabit them. Like, oh, something's coming. The earth is shaking. Something big is about to happen. And that's what we see in this text here. And then it goes on. Well, and so what this makes me think of is Isaiah 43, in which it says, behold, I am creating a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Right? Here we see that something is coming forth in the storyline. And at some point, we have to change our thinking and our analyzing my way through why all of this happened, because that only increases my anxiety, and I'm getting caught up in what's happened and what is already all done. And I'm trying to change the past, but I'm not getting anywhere, right? And that's what Job was experiencing in all the chapters before. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to ask why this is happening. And I'm trying to figure out how I can undo this. And we just see this increase in anxiety and struggle in Job's mind. And he was getting caught up in what had happened and what was done. And really, he's starting to realize here, I have to turn away from that because I'm not getting anywhere in it. And so first thing we see in the text is the question isn't why, it's where. Where is God in the struggle? And that's what we see here. I feel the earth trembling. I know that he's nearby. I know that he's my Redeemer, my advocate. Where is he? Where is he? I'm going to turn away from looking at why this has happened in my life, and I'm going to turn my posture to where is God in this? And in verse 7 and 8. And I'm just going to read some more. It says, he stretches the northern skies over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. Oh, we're talking about God here. He wraps up the water in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst beneath its weight. He laid out the horizon on the surface of the waters at the boundary between light and darkness. By his breath, the heavens gained their beauty. His hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Right there, the fleeing serpent. Again, we have hints of Genesis and the fact and the thing that the writer wants to remind us of is that God has had a plan since the very beginning. He's already overcome in this story, and we need to be reminded of it. And God is approaching, and God is near. He's not far. The earth is trembling, but I hadn't noticed before because I was wrapped up in my anxiety and my debates and working this through with the people around me who didn't have any better answers than I did. Job's questions aren't the problem. His questions were causing him frustration. Job's questions were misdirected. His questions weren't the problem. But even if he was asking those questions, because he wasn't asking the right question, he wasn't going to see the answer that was right before him. Because he was turned towards something else, because he was looking for his healing in something else, he couldn't even see the answer that was right around him. The earth is trembling. The water in the clouds, the northern skies are stretched out. The horizon on the surface, the boundary between light and darkness. The answer was right before him in that God was present. His question was the problem. His question was what was bringing him frustration. And now we see that Job is realigning his questions. After asking why and how to no avail, he finally realizes, I'm asking the wrong questions. It's not why. It's where. Not why did this happen? Where is God in this? Because I know that he's here, and it's not how, but it's who. Not how am I going to get out of this or how did this happen to me, but who is it that I know that my Redeemer and my advocate is? Who is it that I know that God is, and who is it that I know that I am in him? And so where do I need to be looking? Because he's been answering the questions all along. He was taking away those questions completely. He didn't need to answer the questions that I was asking because it was the wrong questions. He's like, I know those aren't going to take you anywhere. If you're asking why and how, those aren't going to take you anywhere. You don't need to know all the hows. I know all the hows, and you can have confidence in that. This is the one who does. This is what we see in the text today, that God is the one who does. He's the one who has the answers to all of our questions. He's the one who knows where he is at all times, because I can tell you the answer to that now. He's always right at the pivot point, right at the moment where you think that you were lost or that you are hopeless or that you don't know what to do next. That's where he is. Always in the moment that you have your deepest hurt and your wound is wide open, he is there. He is right there. That's the where. And then it's who is he? And I can trust in that, even though I don't understand the great cosmos and I wasn't there when creation was made, but I can see around me and I can see the horizon and that he's in control, and I can see the seas and I can see that he controls it, that he holds back the shore. So I can trust in that. We can lay down our striving. We can lay down our worrying. We can rest in God's goodness and move from why to the where is God, and move from the who, from the how to the who, because it's not in the who, I'm going to mess this up. It's in the who and not the how that we can put our faith and rest. So your reflection for today is this. I got there. Have you been so focused on the how that you've been missing the who? Have you been caught up in why that you can't see where God has already showed up and where he's already working? How can you realign your prayers and your questions today to see the where and the who?